US Agent 27 from the MUCollectorClub.com forums, and I'm back today with another Marvel Legends review. Actually, the figure I'm going to review is not technically a Marvel Legend. It was part of the Fantastic Four Classics line, but it's Dragonman, as you guys can kind of see. This is a very, very rare figure, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at him and see if he's worth picking up, and then I'll kind of give you guys my insights to Dragonman. So before we get started, if this is the first video that you guys have ever seen of mine, you're going to hear me plug our website, www.mucollectorclub.com, quite a bit. It was in the intro you just saw, and I'll probably plug it again before the end of the video. It's just a great place to kind of go and meet fellow collectors and share ideas and, you know, trade and just be a part of a community. Everyone looks out for each other there, so make sure you guys are going to check that out. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Dragonman. Now, Dragonman is a very rare figure. He was, to my knowledge, was packed, I think, 1 to a case, and it was the last wave that came out of those Fantastic Four Classics. So a lot of retailers really didn't order a lot of them. So he's very hard to find. Mint and package, I've seen him go for as much as like $600. Loose, I've seen him go for as much as like, you know, $300 up to $500, give or take. I had happened to see an eBay auction that was ending, no one was bidding on it, and, you know, I figured, you know, what the hell, I'll throw, you know, my bid in, which was actually just the minimum, that's all I bid, and it was $249. So I got Dragonman for $255 shipped, which is, I think, is a pretty decent deal. When I first got him, I did think he was a little smaller than the pictures I had kind of seen. I don't know if he really fits in all that well with Marvel Legends. We're going to talk about that when we do size comparisons at the end. But don't get me wrong, Dragonman is definitely a awesome figure. If you don't have it, you know, keep an eye out. You know, try to get a deal on it, because he's one of those ones you just want to have in your collection. He's a unique figure. Not everyone has him. He's not like, you know, Deadpool or Warpath or anything like that. He is a very unique figure and very sought after figure. So, and he does retain his value, so, you know, God forbid if you ever had to, you know, sell some of your figures to, you know, make your month's rent or whatever, or life changes, you would be able to get your money back easily on Dragonman. Alright, enough about that. Let's talk about the figure itself. So, aesthetically, Dragonman is incredibly impressive. He's one of those figures, he's very imposing. I actually have him at the very edge and corner of my shelf, kind of looking down on everybody else. I think he just looks badass the way you know, right there. He has incredible detail. His wings, and we're going to talk about articulation, but his wings are very, very detailed. And if you look at the back, let's see if the camera picked that up. This is all sculpted and all painted in there. It's got some really nice paint detail in there. Painted on the tail, on his legs. He's got some dry brushing in there. Same thing with his chest. His face. Let's see if we can get the face sculpt. Let me zoom in a little bit. I mean, the face sculpt is incredible. He's got the little dragon eyes in there. Oops, sorry, you guys can't see that. There it goes. I mean, that's incredible detail on this large of a figure. His mouth does open. He's got even the painted tongue in there, which they didn't have to do, but they did anyway, and I think that's a great touch. He has painted black on his fingernails. The inside of his wing is like a orangish color, but it has, again, paint detail. It has like dry brushing in, so it really does look very, very impressive. So overall, as far as like paint application on this figure, 10 out of 10. I mean, they really couldn't have improved on this in any way, shape, or form. Perfect paint application. So let's talk a little bit about our articulation. So as you can kind of see, his wings are articulated. They're actually on a ball joint back here, and they will pop out. Just have to be careful so you don't break it. Oh, there goes one, and there goes the second one. So I set him aside. So here are the wings. Again, very nice detail on them. They have the hook up there. Some people, what they'll do is if they get this figure, they'll take these off and put like the Annihilus wings. I like these wings just fine. And you see there's the ball. And then what you do is you just plug it into his back right there. And then that makes a ball joint and you can kind of move his wings around. Again, just kind of going back to paint detail, I mean, look at the detail they put on his back. This is something you don't normally see on the figure, but Toy Biz, the manufacturer of the figure, they went the extra mile on this. His tail can come off. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't really want to pull it off, but it does pull out. There's a little bit of flex in it. It's not like the scorpion tail on a Spider-Man figure, or any like Omega Red's tentacles or anything like that, but you can like angle the tail down to kind of give him some balance so he can kind of like help stand up the figure. Okay, so his head is on a ball joint, so it's going to move all the way down, which is great because if you have him posed up high, you kind of want to, oh, sorry, you guys can't see that. You guys have him posed up high, you kind of want him looking down. They can look up about that far. Sorry, he's a bigger figure. I'm trying to, let's try that again. You can look up about that far down, left to right, no problem. And like I said, his jaw is articulated. It can open up that far. I usually leave it open like that. Kind of looks like he's sticking his tongue out. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so that's his head. He doesn't have a torso joint or anything like that, or an ab crunch. It's just one solid joint. He does have a waist swivel, so you can swivel back and forth. His legs are on ball joints. So move his arm up. So it just goes up. It goes front about that far, and it will go back. I don't really want to mess with mine. Let me just see if I can get it to go back. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with mine right now. You just have to twist the ball. That one's kind of tight. Let's see if I can get this one to go. Twist the ball to kind of get the leg to go back, and this one is also tight. So they will go back. Not that you really need it to go back that far. His leg is one solid piece. It's got a single joint at the knee, and it only goes in about that far because it's actually blocked by all this plastic and sculpt right here, which I'm fine with that. You know, you can kind of get him in a flight pose like that. So he's kind of got his knee bent. His foot goes up about that far, back about that far. He does have a foot joint right here, so you can kind of look at that. You can kind of put him so he's kind of like holding on to something. That looks really cool. I'm actually getting a Young Justice Robin for his base, and I think I might actually have him pose like that. It's like kind of like a gargoyle, just to see what it looks like. He also, on his foot, has this little back talon, and these talons up here, and they help him stand. He doesn't stand kind of flat. He doesn't have an ankle rock or anything like that, but that extra piece of sculpt does definitely help him when he's standing. Okay. The other leg is the same exact thing. Arms, ball joint at the top, goes up about that far. It can go all the way around. Bicep swivel, single joint right there at the elbow. Goes up about that far because of the sculpt. Figure this size, you don't need double jointed elbows. Yes, it is always nice to get it, but you don't absolutely need it. Okay. His hand, there's no swivel at the hand. That is one thing I think if they had done that would have been perfect. His hand does go in and out about that far. So in about that far, and then out like that. So it does kind of limit the kind of poses you can kind of get him in. You know, I usually have him kind of like looking, he's going to attack like that. So, like that, sorry guys. So, I mean, that's a cool pose to put him in. I've seen other poses like where people will, they'll kind of have him turned and kind of like this. And that's also cool. So you can definitely get him in some poses. Don't let the fact that you can't rotate his wrist dissuade you from the figure at all. This figure is great. And then just for final thoughts, get him all set back up. We'll plug his wings back in. Just snap in. And that just snaps in. Alright, so then we have Dragonman. Very cool figure. Like I said, definitely, in my opinion, a must-buy. He's just so unique. You really want him in your collection. Now, I did say I was going to do a size comparison. So I've got two figures I'm going to compare him to. The first one is actually the movie version of the Invisible Woman. I don't have the other Hasbro version or any of the Toy Biz versions because I think they personally look like crap. This figure, in my opinion anyway, is a little bit, probably the best looking one. Best looking Sue Storm you can get. So, but anyway, she stands about there. So she comes up to about his nose. And if you straighten him out, so he's standing straight up. A little lower than the nose. So that's the scale on Dragonman. From the comics I've read, he's supposed to be quite a bit larger. So the next figure I usually compare him to, and I actually did post some pictures of this up on mucollectorclub.com. We talk about 6-inch Marvel Legends figures. We also talk about 3 3/4-inch Marvel Universe figures. So I usually like to have them paired up with the Marvel Universe. And again, I have the clear variant of the Invisible Woman. Let me tilt that down. I just think that's a little bit better in scale. So when I display him for a massive display or something like that, I'm probably going to display him with the Marvel Universe instead of Marvel Legends. So again, that's just my personal opinion. You guys can do whatever you want, but definitely a must-get figure. So that concludes our review for Dragonman. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you guys come check us out at mucollectorclub.com and come talk some toys. We talk about Marvel Universe figures, these guys. We talk about Marvel Legends figures. We talk about Masters of the Universe Classics figures. We talk about Star Wars, G.I. Joes, DC Universe Classics, and which is going to segue into what I'm going to talk about next. I am going to start reviewing those, and the first review is actually going to be Deathstroke, which will be probably uploaded today. So I hope you guys come back and check it out, and thanks for watching.